The following program is brought to you by Jack Miller.
It's Down to Business with Jack Miller. Forget what they teach you in school. This is real life, not Wall Street, but Main Street. A real show on what's really involved with starting and running a business with all the ups and downs. Our guests will answer your questions and provide you with valuable information. Stay tuned and join in the conversation.
When the earth was created.
Hello, this is Jack Miller. I'm here with my good friend Todd Cohen. How are you, Todd?
I'm doing great, Jack. How you doing?
Good. I wish our audience could see both of our smiles. We have a super exciting guest on today. Her name is Katy. She's with the Adam and Eve Adult Entertainment. I don't know
Empire.
Empire. They're the largest seller of adult toys in the world. They have franchises. They have all kinds of stuff.
They have a production company.
I know they do. I spent a lot of time last night after I fasted. Yesterday was the holiest day in the Jewish year. I spent the day fasting and praying for forgiveness for God.
Right. Well, they say timing is everything. I find it very funny that the day after the Day of Atonement, we're having this show and this guest, and we have 364 days really to wait for the next time to atone for this show.
100%. I even got at work because I was in synagogue praying yesterday and fasting, and all I kept thinking about is this show and all the questions I was going to ask and inappropriate thoughts. So I understand. First, I want to do a disclosure that what Todd and I are doing today is strictly for the radio audience. The opinions are not of ours. We don't want to get in any trouble with our wives and divorces or separations or have to sleep on the sofa for any questions we ask, of course.
Right.
Yeah. So
no, it's all for entertainment purposes and, of course, information. And this is a legitimate business and one of the most lucrative businesses in all of the world, frankly, the adult entertainment business, that is. And, we're a business show. We got to talk about it all.
We're going to. They offer franchises. There's franchises available in Florida, and they were nice enough to send me a big box of all kinds of stuff that they sell on the website. That's right, Todd.
You get all the perks.
Todd,
where's my swag bag?
I don't want to say I used it. I'll tell you what happened. Todd's holding up the catalogs. They also sent us a lot of good catalogs, which are very fun. I get home yesterday. I'm in synagogue fasting, and my wife's all excited. She has this big box of stuff. My luck, this is what happens when you're 53 and married for 29 years. My head was pounding because I didn't eat all day. All I wanted to do was lay in bed and just take aspirin and be left alone. So, but anyway, so did you have a good time in synagogue? You had a nice fast?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's nice to a point. I've been sick for the last couple days, so I had a splitting headache by about 2 p.m. yesterday with the lack of taking in water or food. I'm grappling with the question, can I take aspirin, for my headache? Is that part of what is allowed? I didn't even know what to do. I never know what to do in those instances. Fortunately, my father-in-law is a rabbi, so I at least have someone that I could call and ask.
I think you're allowed to take aspirin.
I think you are, too.
You're allowed to take aspirin if you're sick or have a headache or something.
I think medicines in general, especially if they're prescribed or necessary, are fine.
That's correct. That's 100% correct. You are. I don't know if I told you, I happen to be a sexpert. Since we're talking about sex, I'm an expert in sex. I don't really know what's going on with sex, but I'm an expert in the Jewish law of sex.
Wow.
There's a ton of crazy stuff within the Jewish religion about sex, and I've mastered that.
Okay, you're a master of your own domain, huh?
Yes, I don't know really what's going on, but I don't understand my body or the woman's body, but I know the Jewish law of sex.
Good for you.
That I know.
So what's that sheet called?
It's a fallacy.
That is a fallacy.
There's no sheet with a hole in it. I know that's a big thing. I know that was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's a fallacy.
Got it.
It's a fallacy. There's a lot of fallacies within the Jewish religion about sex.
Okay.
We could do a show on it one time.
There's probably a lot of fallacies in general about sex.
Yeah. I actually tried to get someone on, believe it or not, this show who could talk about the Pope. I tried to get an expert on the Pope. I don't know how we go from the Pope to adult entertainment toys. Yeah. But because I thought it would be fascinating to have really an expert on the Pope because he's in town. It's exciting and all this stuff.
This Pope might actually know. I mean, that might be blasphemous to say, but he seems pretty liberal as far as popes go. So
from an outsider, I'm very impressed by him. I must confess, I don't know that much, but he seems to be the Pope of the people, and he connects with people very well.
Yeah,
and
he's up in the Northeast. I think he's visiting our hometown of Philly
Philadelphia
tomorrow and for the weekend. So.
Yeah, they're basically shutting Center City down.
Unbelievable.
I think it's the highest level of security ever for anyone. So
I believe it. They've shut all the bridges, all the highways down. I think it's going to be a disaster for those in the city, and a lot of people are traveling outside if they need to get away. And who knows?
Anyway, we could talk about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the Pope, all that stuff, or we can talk adult, toys or entertainment. With that, you want to bring Katie on? Katie, you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Katie, this is Jack. I have Todd. Say hello to Todd.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Todd.
Katie, first, I want to thank you for your presence yesterday.
Yeah.
You probably didn't hear, but I told Todd we were in synagogue all day praying yesterday. I came home to those presents. I was very excited. But when you're married 29 years, I had a splitting headache. So not much happened to them. But my wife gave me a lot of questions for you.
Okay. Well, maybe tonight you can put them to good use.
I hope so. Actually, my mother-in-law's coming over, so I don't know. But anyway, so Katie, why don't you tell us about, let's start. I have literally tons and tons of questions about you, some about sex and relations between male and female, but I also have a lot of really good business questions because you guys are a thriving business, and I know you offer franchises, and I want to talk about the economics behind the business and not just the pretty people behind it. By the way, as sitting on our desk here are your catalogs with everyone fully showing themselves in their
well, not
birthdays.
showing everything.
No, but it's hard to concentrate.
I mean, there's not much that they're not showing. I'll tell you right now.
It's pretty good. In fact, Katie, the only thing that could have been better, you should have sent over some demonstrators. That would have been good. But why don't you tell us seriously, and we'll try not to make too much of a circus of it. I'm sure we'll make a little. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Adam and Eve? You told me, and I read some fascinating things about the company. And why don't you go into a little history, and then we'll talk some of the good stuff.
Well, we actually started in 1971. The former president, the founder of the company, Phil Harvey, created Adam and Eve out of his master's thesis. He challenged an age-old Comstock law, which made it illegal to provide birth control methods to the public. And he challenged that by placing ads in newspapers for condoms, which were, then available only in pharmacies behind the counters, causing a lot of embarrassment and social anxiety, I would imagine. So he made it anonymous, basically, for people to order through newspapers, and it was a huge success, and the government didn't raise an eyebrow. And from that, he created pamphlets offering condoms as well as other items. Not all were sexually related, but he did find that the sexually related items were the ones that sold.
Shocker.
Exactly, yeah.
So, out of curiosity, I just have so many questions, so I'm going to just start answering them. How much has the Internet changed the sex business and the adult toy business?
Vastly. When I first started, around 20 years ago here, DVDs weren't even around. It was the VHS tapes. And so it was really a lot of the adult movies. That was, our bread and butter. And now toys are about 80% of our sales.
How much of them are on the Internet and how much are in your retail locations?
It's about the same, but the Internet really opened up our business to women, we feel. The demographics have changed. If you compare the paper catalogs, the mail order versus Internet and then stores, we found a lot of couples go into stores together.
But single people, the females and things like that, buy them on the Internet?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Gotcha. What's fascinating, I want to talk a lot about that stuff, but one of the things I thought, which is very unusual, you guys donate a good amount of your profits, 20%, to charities.
We do. I donate condoms pretty much every week to different organizations that request them. We donate money to American Cancer Society. We've built a house here through Habitat for Humanity. And the founder, Phil Harvey, also started DKT International out of Washington, D.C., which supplies birth control methods to third world countries. So we do donate a lot of money to that.
It's interesting. How do you pick the charities that you're giving to? Just general, like Cancer, Habitat for Humanity, just general charities?
We consider everything. There are some things that come through every year that, we feel strongly about. Special Olympics, American Cancer Society. Cancer has touched pretty much everybody. So that's something, a lot of our employees feel strongly about. Our employees do fundraisers as well, and then the company will typically match the funds that are raised. So if someone here has, a particular interest or something that they want to do, the company will get behind the employees.
Gotcha. How many employees do you guys have?
It's around 300 right now.
So it's an enormous company.
It's a good-sized company, yeah.
What % of people do you think, and I know you have all kinds of surveys, do you think aren't, I don't want to say aren't into it, everyone's like into it, but like are, I don't want to say too uptight to look at this, but what % of the population, or are there a lot of people who are offended by this? Or is everyone like Todd and I who just loves it and can't get enough of it?
In my experience, I've only run into a handful, one hand, I could say, people who have been offended or uncomfortable or, shunned me, basically. There's usually a curiosity. I think most people like to have fun with it, and they giggle. And even at cocktail parties or things like that, people who originally act uncomfortable are the ones that corner you by the end of the night and are asking all the questions.
They're probably the biggest freaks. What do you think it is? I don't know what it is. It's in our genetics. Whenever we talk about sex or bodily fluids or something like that, we just giggle and smile. Is that everyone, or is it just us in the studio? By the way, our switchboard operator is not looking at me. I think I'm getting dirty looks from her. I hope I'm not offending her. But
I'd have to give her a catalog after the show.
I think if she wants, she can come in here. I'd be a little too embarrassed. She looks like a very nice lady. I don't know. But no, Todd and I are like hysterical, giggling over this. You should see Todd's grin right now. So but what is it about genetics or the sexes that when you talk about this that people just love it?
Well, I think it's one of the last taboos. I mean, we're kind of trained not to talk about it, but it's we're all here because of it, one way or another.
So with that, you say taboos. I was fascinated when I read that there's certain geographic areas in the U.S. that you don't ship to.
Right.
And is that because of the government or regulation, or you're afraid of the judicial system in those areas?
The political climate in certain areas, Utah, parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, we have been advised, we don't want to raise any flags or cause any problems. So when people try to order products from those areas, we tell them that they need to, kind of vote in some more liberal politicians.
That's crazy. So really, I have to get a bunch of sex toys, put them in the back of my trunk, and drive out to those areas. I can get double and triple the price, probably.
Oh, you would be, so popular.
I probably wouldn't come out alive.
So, I have a couple questions, Katy. First of all, what would you say are like the 2 or 3 most popular items today in your stores or in your catalogs?
The rabbit vibrators are still really big sellers. Those have been around for a while, but Sex and the City kind of blew the lid off of those. And so now there are hundreds of different varieties of those with all different kinds of bells and whistles. Bullet vibrators, which are just, very, very simple, small vibrators.
So the travel kind.
Yeah, and they're pretty benign looking. They're not very phallic, and so if they happen to fall out of your purse, you could be like, oh, that's for my neck or shoulder pain, So
let me ask you a question. So I know it's illegal to text in most states, but when you're driving down the street, you can use a little vibrator?
Well, we wouldn't recommend that.
There was a guy a couple months ago in some crazy state. He was eating a Big Mac, and he got pulled over on the side of the road, and they arrested him.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
I just found out you're not allowed to eat or drink any kind of beverage in the UK while you're driving.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. That's really crazy. So those are your biggest items.
I also read that you guys ship internationally, and you have pretty much since your inception. Which country besides the United States are sort of the craziest or the most sexually liberated, would you say, based on orders and based on?
I don't know. They sell lots of things overseas that we could never sell, that we would never, try to sell. Movies in Germany and different kinds of things like that. We try to focus our sales in the United States.
Katie, we have to take, I hate to do this on such a good topic, and we have to take a commercial. And when I get back, I'm going to continue this, ask you for more provocative, and then talk about franchising, too.
Yeah, no pun intended. We have a hard break right now. So
That's exactly right. Okay, we'll see you in 2 minutes.
All right.
Don't turn that dial. We'll be right back.
Do you need long-term real estate financing? Gelt Financial is located right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and provides 30-year terms with no balloon payment whatsoever on non-owner occupied residential and commercial real estate. With a minimum loan amount of only $75,000 all the way up to $5 million, we provide common sense underwriting and a quick closings. We don't require tax returns whatsoever. Call right now at 561-221-0900. Again, that's 561-221-0900.
Did you invest in a non-liquid real estate partnership? Do you want and need liquidity? There's finally an answer. Quick Liquidity is a direct buyer of real estate minority interest and tenants in common investments across the country. To find out if we would buy your non-liquid investment, call us at 561-221-0881 or visit us at quickliquidity.com. That's quickliquidity.com. If you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call attorney Dan Kaskow, 561-237-6822. Mr. Kaskow is board certified by the Florida Bar as an expert in real estate law. He's been practicing law for more than 20 years and is a partner in the law firm of Sachs Kaplan with offices in Boca Raton and Tallahassee. Dan Kaskow handles real estate, corporate, condominium, and homeowner association matters throughout Florida. From residential purchases and sales, bulk buying and selling of condominium units, to purchases and sales of commercial properties. Contact attorney Dan Kaskow at 561-237-6822 for your real estate, corporate, and community association legal needs. Attorney Dan Kaskow, 561-237-6822. Non-attorney spokesperson for attorney Dan Kaskow.
You're locked into 880 The Biz, South Florida's only business talk station. 880 The Biz, where money talks. Welcome back to It's Down to Business with Jack Miller. Call us at 305-541-2350. Follow us on Facebook at Jack Miller Down to Business or on Twitter at HJackMiller1.
Hello, everyone. This is Jack Miller and Todd Cohen again. We are pleased to be joined by Katy at Adam and Eve. Katy, thanks for sticking with us during the break.
Oh, definitely.
It's a pleasure again to interview you. Todd and I are both in the real estate and finance world. We're usually buttoned down guys, pretty reserved, so this is fantastic for us. So let me jump to the business side of this, and then we'll talk the fun side. I would think, not knowing, that the margins in your business are incredible.
They are. There's a lot more competition now, though.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. I would also imagine that it's so easy for someone to sell the stuff online. And how much of your business has changed because somebody could open up with better SEO or better marketing and I would think pick up a good amount of market share. So how much of your 300 staff is focused on the marketing side of it? And again, I happen to know that you do, I would assume, I shouldn't say I know, that you have a bunch of streams. Organic search, I suspect, is one of them. I think you have an affiliate program. Retail is one. I don't know if you do any pay-per-click or anything like that. But how much of your efforts is focused on driving in the revenue and sales?
We have a division in our marketing in our marketing department that focuses on that solely. We're always trying new things, advertisements, magazine ads still work for us sometimes. The Internet's opened up a whole new world.
Do you guys have proprietary products, or do you always?
We do. We don't actually manufacture anything here, but we do have like our own line of toys that are made to our specifications.
Got it. Where are those manufactured?
Those are mostly manufactured abroad.
Got it.
So you guys measure, I assume you measure just like any traditional business, cost per customer to acquire, things of that nature?
We have, cost per thousand generally is how we look at it.
How much of your business is repeat business?
Quite a bit.
Do you have any like continuity programs? Like when you were selling, like, for example, the condoms, I would think that would be a great continuity program where you're shipping them, I don't know how they sell them, 3 or 6 or 10 or whatever, and then maybe every 30 days they get another grouping of them. We've
tried things like that, but they haven't really worked for us that well. Now, we do have, our multi-buyers, we like to call them, our repeat customers, and we offer them special products or special offers to try to get the repeat business.
Gotcha. Now, it would seem, I went to your website, and I know you sell franchises. It would seem, and I have to tell you, I've been in the mortgage and financing business for 30 years, but I was thinking about it last night. I should quit this and come in your business. What's required to open a franchise? And if a guy, because there's a lot of people out there who are looking for second careers,
right?
I would think they would seriously consider owning a sex toy shop. Why not?
Yeah, we have, I believe it's close to 60 stores coast to coast now. And what we advise people is, there are certain legalities. You can't have a store close to a church, close to a school. You'd have to check with your community to see what the legal issues are. But generally it takes about $150,000 to open up a store. And we have a staff here that will, help you, train you. And we have a lot of store owners that have multiple stores now. They've been so successful, they've opened multiple stores in their areas.
What struck me when I was looking at your locations, of course I would look to see if there's any near me, but that I was expecting to see a lot in like Miami, Key West areas, New York City, high tourist areas. And it struck me that I didn't see that. And maybe they're there. I just didn't realize it because I don't know a lot of these areas. But a lot of them are in, Michigan, Montana, Idaho,
right?
Arkansas, And I was curious as to why you didn't think you're seeing these in what I'll call like the cities. And
I know we've had interest in New York, in Manhattan, but real estate is so expensive there. I think that's a big, stumbling block. I don't know about Miami. I know we do have some in Florida.
Yeah, you do. They're in the Jacksonville, St. Augustine, kind of the not the southern Florida, not the real populated area.
Right, not the big metropolitan areas.
How do you think they would do? Or are these stores better in a more touristy location?
I don't really have an answer for that.
Okay, just kind of curious.
I think you should open one up and let us know.
I'd love to, man. I think this is great. Okay, so you ready to take some? I have a whole series of questions. I'm going to pepper you them. Is that all right? Okay.
Right. Take a breath.
Not for me, of course, because I don't have these problems. No, I'm a total mess. Hypothetically, what's a good way to start this for like a long married couple? Like, let's say a couple's married 29 years. And he's like a Jewish age, middle, balding, a little heavyset guy who's a little stuck up.
So in other words, Katy, Jack has a friend, and I'm doing air quotes right now. Jack has a friend who wants to know this.
Yeah, how do you introduce this like to a long married couple?
I would maybe leave a catalog laying around and kind of laugh about some of the things that you see on there. And you could start out with some warming massage oil, plan a date night, and then talk about it. I mean, communication is so underrated. Have you asked, has your friend asked his wife
there you go.
how she would feel about maybe having a vibrator?
I think my friend would be scared to ask his wife because my friend is afraid of rejection. And I don't know. I'd be intimidated. I think what am I supposed to say? Oh, honey, the lasagna was good. How about this, whatever size vibrator? I don't know. I guess you got to gradually do it.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't know.
just starting off with, a blindfold or some warming massage oil or a scented bubble bath. I mean, those are baby steps.
Good way. Okay, so you got to start small. Now, where do you think is, again, for a couple, what do you think, like, the entree is, like, the first toy they should buy?
There are dual rings that, can please both partners at the same time. A lot of men like to watch their women pleasure themselves.
Oh, I like that. We like that. Everyone likes that.
So, a little pocket rocket or, a vibrating bullet, which you can use while you're together.
Okay, that's good. Okay,
yeah,
good,
I mean,
good.
just little things to kind of spice it up, and then you can see where you want to go from there.
What do you think about surprising her or him with it? Could be the wives buying it for the males. I'd like that. Is it something like you buy them this for their birthday or for Christmas or whatever, or Hanukkah or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Or so you just surprise them with
Definitely. But I think one of the things you need to remember is you don't want to surprise them with anything that might be intimidating or might cause any insecurity.
Gotcha. So no whips and chains or like something huge.
Exactly.
I understand. You got to keep it manageable in the beginning.
Yeah, and you need to think about her, or she needs to think about him.
So this would be a great Mother's Day present. I think.
You never know.
You never know. How do you think, another crazy question? By the way, most of these came from my wife like at 1 a.m. I'm trying to fall asleep, and she's like saying, ask her these questions. How have toys and this business evolved over the last 100 years or 200 years? Like, what were they doing a couple hundred years ago?
Well, 100 years ago or less, the doctors had massagers. You've heard this story, I'm sure, and they would vibrate the women to orgasm, and it was hysteria. That's where the term, the hysteria came from. And from there, smaller handheld massagers came about, and people realized, wow, this is pretty amazing. And they've gotten smaller, and they've gotten more bells and whistles, and, there are toys for internal use, external use, for couples to use together, toys that don't look like toys. So if your kid or your, mother-in-law happen to find them, you're not going to be mortified.
Gotcha. Is this bigger with the gay community or the straight community?
That's a good question. We actually have a gay male division at a male, and we sell a lot of toys, large toys, different types of toys. But I think overwhelmingly it's couples.
Really?
Hetero couples, yeah.
It's funny. My wife and I had the discussion. We were thinking it was the opposite, but what do we know?
Now, in your stores, in your actual physical locations, would you say they're frequented more by, guys alone, couples, girls alone?
Generally couples. Couples or, girlfriends will come in together. Sometimes guys will come in together, but generally couples.
By the way, I think yesterday was National Bisexual Day.
That is a fascinating fact.
I know. Do you think bisexual people are happier than married people?
I think they're happier than they were before they sort of figured that out.
I don't know. I have a theory, and I don't know. Maybe Katy, you know this, or maybe I don't know. You have an opinion, and I have no scientific knowledge other than my 50 years of life. But the gay people I know seem much happier than the straight people, the heterosexual people. Fact, fiction? I don't know. What do you think?
It seems that way. I agree.
It seems that way.
Maybe it's because, they've let go of so many of the inhibitions.
Could be.
So tell us your story a little bit, Katy. We want to get a little bit behind the curtain, a peek of how someone like you has a great radio voice, obviously.
Oh, well, thank you.
How'd you get into this business, and sort of what was the career trajectory?
Well, actually, my degree's in journalism and public relations. I lived in New York for a while after college, and ended up in North Carolina with my first husband, and saw an ad in the paper looking for a copywriter, and figured it out because we'd heard whisperings that Adam and Eve was based out of this area, and I thought, well, this would be hilarious to go and see what it's really like, and no intention of actually taking the job, but just because we'd all heard of Adam and Eve.
Wait, Katy, I apologize. I have to take another break. I apologize in the middle of your personal life, but
Okay.
stay with us for 2 minutes. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I wasn't paying attention. We got in trouble.
We'll hear it when we come back.
Yeah.
Don't turn that dial. We will be right back.
Are you tired of dealing with unreliable banks and brokers who charge upfront fees and never deliver on their promises? You don't have to. Gelt Financial Corporation has been in business since 1989 and offers a stated income loan program for non-owner-occupied residential and commercial real estate investors. No tax returns required. What are you waiting for? Call Gelt Financial right now at 561-221-0900. Again, that's 561-221-0900. 561-221-0900.
Did you invest in a non-liquid real estate partnership? Do you want and need liquidity? There's finally an answer. Quick Liquidity is a direct buyer of real estate minority interest and tenants in common investments across the country. To find out if we would buy your non-liquid investment, call us at 561-221-0881 or visit us at quickliquidity.com. That's quickliquidity.com.
You're locked into 880 The Biz, South Florida's only business talk station. 880 The Biz, where money talks. Welcome back to It's Down to Business with Jack Miller. Call us at 305-541-2350. Follow us on Facebook at Jack Miller Down to Business or on Twitter at HJackMiller1.
Hello, this is Jack Miller with Todd Cohen. We're in studio with the lovely and I don't know what the word to use. Sultry and intelligent Katy at adamandeve.com. Katy, thank you for sticking through the break.
Oh, definitely.
And you are the director of public relations at Adam and Eve, correct?
Yes.
That's an impressive position. So anyway, I apologize. Our producer was trying to give us the cue for the break. She gives me the cue, but I was so distracted at looking at your catalogs and all the toys and talking to you that I kind of missed it. So I apologize for interrupting you before. Why don't you tell us again, as Todd asked, how you got this position and kind of tell us something about yourself. It's a little bit of an unusual job. Tell us something about yourself, how you got in this position, and what's day-to-day life like as the PR director of Adam and Eve, and does that spill over to your personal life?
Those are a lot of questions.
I know. You know us men, we just want.
So I saw an ad in the paper and thought it would be interesting to, kind of see what Adam and Eve was really about, and I expected, to go into a basement and a bunch of dirty old men, and it was actually a great place, a lot of women in management, very impressive, and, 20-plus years I'm still here.
So what's your daily job at Adam and Eve? Like, obviously it's public relations, but, like, what do you do to market the company besides coming on shows like mine? Like, what do you do to constantly look to push the product?
Well, every day is different, which is something I really enjoy, so I don't get, bored. I promote the toys, our own line of toys. So it's always a big plus if we get mentioned in Cosmopolitan or The View or, things like that. I try to push our movies. We have our own line.
How do you get them in The View and on movies and things like that? I don't know what it is. We've never had this. I've been on the air for a while, and all of a sudden we're talking about sex.
I think they wanted to hone in on your sex talk.
You know what?
We're getting closed down.
The truth is, I was thinking that before the show, the station manager is going to come in and pull the plug. They're not going to like what I'm talking about, but I don't think that's happening. But anyway, so how do you get this in promotional items and things like that?
We will send samples. We will, having done this a while, I've developed some relationships with some different editors. I have people that work on movie sets, and they know that I can overnight them toys if they need toys for a particular scene. So it's just about building relationships over time. How
much did the 50 Shades of Grey affect your business? It was obviously a titillating book, and I loved the movie, and it was, I thought, very sexy. But did you see a spike in that type of equipment or
We
bonded?
did. We certainly did. I think it piqued people's curiosity. They wanted to know, what's the secret about Benoit balls? Why is everybody talking about Benoit balls? And it kind of gave people permission to, bring up talking about adding restraints or blindfolds or, toys. We actually created our own line of kind of soft bondage toys to go along with it.
Do you have a book of safe words?
That's good.
No, see, that's part of the fun. You have to come up with your own safe word.
Gotcha.
Agreed. Now, tell me about Halloween. Is that big for you guys? I mean, I know it's not really costumes, and some of the stuff you sell is very inappropriate, but I feel like Halloween has become a little bit inappropriate over the years.
Yeah, it actually is. We say that the peak time for us is Halloween to Valentine's Day. That's when we generally see, huge increase in traffic.
Same
and
for
sales.
Florida. So South Florida is the
that's
exact
right.
same time frame.
What age group are you seeing senior citizens? Because I think seniors are being more sexually active. Are they buying a lot of your stuff?
I don't know if we've seen an increase, but there are a lot of seniors. We've done some ads in AARP that have done pretty well for us.
I have my AARP card. I wonder.
There you go. Do you get a senior discount?
Discount at Adam and Eve.
How has Howard Stern affected your business? Do you guys use him, or does he use you and promote you at all?
I don't know if we're currently running any ads on Stern, but we have done that in the past. And in the past, we've also had some contract stars. And we've gone and had them appear on Howard Stern, and it's done really well for us. I mean, it's just huge exposure.
When you have your films, you have like a film studio and all that stuff?
We have a production division here in North Carolina. We don't actually shoot anything in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And we outsource the talent, the directors, the performers, everything, mostly shot in L.A.
And are the films just sold on DVD, or are they on TV stations or cable stations as well?
Yeah, you can see some of our stuff on Showtime. Hotels, the pay-per-view, DVDs, and we also do streaming. Through our Adam and Eve website.
That's pretty cool.
Now,
cool.
North Carolina seems like a little bit of a strange place when you think about a company like Adam and Eve. You wouldn't expect it to be somewhere in the Bible Belt. How did that evolve, and is North Carolina actually more liberal than people think it is?
Well, the founder of our company went to school here, and I think he thought it would be a great place, and some tax breaks and things like that. And actually, where we're situated is a very liberal area.
I went to college in North Carolina, and it was pretty liberal as well, so I can attest.
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee, and originally, and I tell my kids all the time that, they're growing up in North Carolina in a very liberal place. The rest of the world is not necessarily like this.
Interesting. How much has Viagra affected your business that, men as they get older can be more sexually active? I would think that has increased your business.
I don't have any hard numbers for you. Haha, no pun. But we do actually have Eden's RX, which is you can get to that from the adamandeve.com site if you type in Viagra, and you can order Viagra from the site. You can get a prescription there, and it's doing really well. I think Viagra has kind of expanded people's sex lives where they thought they would probably be over.
Yeah, I would think they would have helped your sales and just the general interest in sex. I know down here, we're in South Florida, and where I live is the hub of senior citizens. And one of the big problems they have is sexually active seniors at these retirement.
Yeah, STDs
are
huge.
I read about that.
It's big.
Really?
Nobody wants to think about that.
I actually thought a great business would be senior porn. Nothing like, having like a couple 80-year-old people, put them in an apartment, let them whatever. I don't know why I think that would be great.
So, Katy, are there any like crazy industry stories that you guys have of like people misusing your product or getting hurt with your product inadvertently? Well,
I can't divulge too much because of all the HIPAA laws.
Right.
But we have, our customer service department is open 24 hours, and they get calls. Our call center gets calls. Not a lot, but it happens with people saying, things have gotten misplaced or misused.
Stuck up there.
Or
Lost.
How do you know what the appropriate? This is a really stupid question, but I would think this. Maybe Todd would too. How do you know what size toy to buy for your partner? Like they come, like literally a couple inches to huge.
String bean to John Holmes, right?
How do you know? Like when you're, like, you can't get it fitted.
No, but like I said before, I think that if you're buying something for your partner, you need to make sure that you're not going to, either intimidate or insult them. So I think start small. You can always go back and go bigger. Some of these things I like to think are for novelty use only. People are giving them as jokes. They're not real. You know what I'm talking about. You've
I
seen
understand.
some of the crazy stuff that's out there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But they have all these neat swinging bondage chairs that hang from your ceilings. And
some of them look like torture devices from medieval times.
And they have things that are literally the adult toys. They're like bigger and thicker than my arm. But I guess someone's using them. I don't know. What do I know?
To each their own. We're not here to judge. We want everybody to have a happy, healthy sex life. And if that's what works for you.
I have another thing, and this has nothing to do with AdamandEve.com, but just a theory I have. What do you think of the generation growing up today who are getting married later and I would assume being more sexually active? How does that interplay? Or like, are the kids in their 20s customers of yours, or is it like the married people like Todd and I?
It's both. We've tried to market to college students in the past because we were, thinking, we'll get them young and they'll be customers forever. College students don't have a lot of money, number one. They certainly don't want their parents seeing what they've ordered, with their credit cards. So they're not really a huge customer base for us. I do think younger people, mid-20s, late 20s, who are still single and out there, I think they're open to it. But yeah, in general, it's older. It's mid-30s and up.
That's what I thought. I actually have a theory that I think is on one hand, I'm very sexually liberal, but on another hand, I actually think that women, especially the young ones, are making big mistakes with their giving of their bodies so freely. I believe that young women have the most powerful commodity on earth. That sex drive that every guy wants is incredibly valuable, and it seems they're just giving it too freely today. Again, my opinion, nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. I wish I was younger. I was going to say, and I took advantage of it. But just as an older guy,
and you have all sons. I have a daughter, Jack.
Oh, it's terrible. Let me tell you, it's this twist because part of me says it's crazy already. These girls do the walk of shame, and it's just horrible how much they give of themselves. And yet, I say go for it. I'm jealous. You know what I mean? So,
I think that it's going to swing back. Right now there's the generation of hookups.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
But studies are showing that people aren't really happy with that. They're doing it because it's what's expected, but they're not really happy.
Well, it's interesting because I have boys in their 20s, and they don't like these girls that they're hooking up with. I guess they like them for the night, but they don't like them, and they actually call them hood rats. And they said they're never these girls would they want to marry or anything of that nature because they're a little bit too loose. So I guess it's,
Right.
But interesting.
Look, I'm going to switch gears again because now I'm getting nervous about my daughter. Look, we're real estate guys, so I always I like to bring it back full circle to what I do. And you guys are a huge mail order company, so I assume you have some warehousing and inventory that you use. How big are your warehouses? Where are your warehouses? And how do you sort of service your customers with them?
We have our warehouse here in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and it's huge. We actually just expanded it last year. We doubled its size almost. And we do have a couple items, some of the things maybe you were just talking about, the big swings and, the heavier items that we can drop ship, but pretty much everything is sent out of house.
In the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And you have private label websites as well, don't you? Like if I would want to go in your business and be an affiliate, you guys can set me up.
We could do that for you.
So I would think that's a great opportunity for someone to work at home and be an internet marketer, hook up with AdamandEve.com, and you could be in this business. I would think you can open up a website pretty cheaply and market it.
Right. I mean, if you have the following, yeah, definitely.
Do you do a good amount of affiliate business, or is that a big traffic driver for you?
We used to do more, and I think it's just because everything is so competitive right now. But we do still do affiliates.
So if we have listeners right now who want to take advantage of not just buying your merchandise, I'm sure everyone can do a Google search for that. But in terms of opening a business, starting a franchise, or starting a website, who do they get in touch with and how?
Katy, hold on. I apologize. One more commercial, then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a few other things. I apologize.
All right.
Stay with us.
We'll be right back.
Turn it around.
Do you need long-term real estate financing? Gelt Financial is located right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and provides 30-year terms with no balloon payment whatsoever on non-owner occupied residential and commercial real estate. With a minimum loan amount of only $75,000 all the way up to $5 million, we provide common sense underwriting and quick closings. We don't require tax returns whatsoever. Call right now at 561-221-0900. Again, that's 561-221-0900.
Did you invest in a non-liquid real estate partnership? Do you want and need liquidity? There's finally an answer. Quick Liquidity is a direct buyer of real estate minority interest and tenants in common investments across the country. To find out if we would buy your non-liquid investment, call us at 561-221-0881 or visit us at quickliquidity.com. That's quickliquidity.com.
Welcome back to It's Down to Business with Jack Miller. Call us at 305-541-2350. Follow us on Facebook at Jack Miller Down to Business or on Twitter at HJackMiller1.
I got my mother-in-law from Philly.
There you go.
Hello, this is Jack Miller and Todd Cohen again. We're here with the wonderful Katy from Adam and Eve. Katy, I apologize. We interrupted you. I am getting my timing on the commercials horrible today. I'm so distracted by you.
That's all right. I was just asking her sort of to tell listeners out there if they would be interested, who they would contact or how they would contact them if they were interested in starting a franchise or a website that could take advantage of everything Adam and Eve has out there to start a successful business.
Yeah, I can give you my email address, and I'd be happy to send those to the proper people.
You really would give that out live on the air?
I'm crazy like that.
Wow, Katy, you are not risk averse.
So, Katy, when you are in a social setting and someone says, "What do you do?" Like, what do you tell them? Do you say, "Oh, I'm in marketing, I'm in public relations, or I work for Adam and Eve"? Like, what's your?
It depends. I think it depends on the vibe I get from the person I'm talking to and what situation. If I'm at a PTA meeting, I might not, say I'm public relations for Adam and Eve. PHE, the parent company, is very respected in our area, and people have to do a little digging sometimes to figure out that that's Adam and Eve.
So, again, a personal question, but what's more personal than, all the stuff we're talking about? Even though I think we've been very respectful of the topic, and we haven't mentioned anything inappropriate, but are guys intimidated? Like, when if I would go out with you on a date, I'd be scared. I don't know. Do you find that? Like, guys are, I don't want to say intimidated.
Yeah.
I'd be scared you would know more than me, and, I couldn't meet your expectations.
But it's not like I'm in the movies or anything.
No, I know. I just think that I don't know. It's just my craziness.
Maybe it's because, I have to be sort of open and able to talk about it.
Yeah, and guys a lot of us are uptight. I don't know.
Jack's neurotic.
I'm definitely neurotic. You know what I was thinking about the other night? I was actually watching a porn, and it was this beautiful young girl, and I was thinking, oh, it'd be wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Then I was thinking, if I really had the chance to be with someone like that, I would soil my underwear. I'd be so scared. I don't think I could perform. It would be horrible. I'd make a fool out of myself. It would be embarrassing.
So you're overthinking it.
I know. But do you think other people think that too?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah, I would think so. It's intimidating. Especially for, I guess maybe not for a 22-year-old who's more full of testosterone. Speaking of that, testosterone, what age, because I've heard this, different ages, what's the sexual peak of a female and a male? Because I hit mine, I didn't even know it happened. It came, it went, I missed it. So what do you think the prime ages for male and females are?
I mean, they say for men it's, 22, 23, and women it's 35, 36, something like that.
So mine a long time. Mine's like-
Yeah, we're long.
Yeah,
we
long.
blew right past that, Jack.
I didn't even know it. That's the problem.
Look, I think sex is a lot like baseball, and we lost a great one yesterday in Yogi Berra, and he had that famous quote, baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical. And, I think you would probably agree, Katie, right? Sex is the same thing. It's all upstairs. If you can sort of mitigate what your mind is telling you and get your arms around that, you can...
definitely.
Go
and
forth
I think,
and
so
conquer.
much of what we do and what we sell is fantasy, and it's fun, and it's supposed to be kind of brain candy,
That's right.
It's hard. It's hard. Katie, what do you think, if you had to describe, we have to cut off in like 3 minutes. Tell us again about Adam and Eve. Make a pitch to the listeners and our podcast listeners on why they should come to Adam and Eve. And again, beside the fun that they're going to have.
And give your email if you dare.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam and Eve's been around over 40 years. We're America's most trusted source for adult products. We carry everything to help people fulfill their fantasies.
And I would encourage everyone just to go to the websites, and you can have a blast just looking at the website. I know I did.
I mean, these catalogs are something else.
And I would make one more request. If you enjoy the toys and you use the toys, you could send Todd and I pictures.
I hope my wife is ready. I'm going home tonight with some seriously lascivious thoughts, and we'll see what happens.
Todd, you got to call us tomorrow and tell us what happens. We'll do another show. I told you I got a headache last night. That's what happened.
But you're ready tonight.
Is that your excuse? It's already built in?
No, whatever. Yeah, it seems it works out that way. It's terrible. I don't think in my head I don't want it to work out that way, but reality is much different in my world.
All right, let's let Katie finally give the listeners her email.
Yeah,
address.
give your contact information, Katie.
Okay, my email is Katy, Katy, @adameve.com. So if any of you are interested in owning your own Adam and Eve franchise store or getting in with our affiliate program, just send me an email.
I think that's great. And we want one in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boca. I think South Florida is a great pub. Yep. New York, Philadelphia.
And Katie, if you guys are ever looking for additional warehouse space, you know who to call.
Okay.
I was thinking if you need someone to interview the talent, Todd.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you thinking about?
I don't know what I'm thinking business. I should be thinking sex.
You
I'm
could
so
think
sorry.
about that.
I can put you in touch with some people, definitely.
Katie, thank you so much for coming. This was great.
Katie, you're the best. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. My wife, thank you. She's going to be embarrassed I said that.
You let me know how it goes.
I promise I will. Katie, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Todd, was that a good show? What do you think?
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I'll tell you, we don't get that opportunity every time.
That's so true.
I know. Usually it's internet marketing, or last week was employment law.
Now we got some splaining to do.
I know. I almost want to have a separate show with Katie that's just on podcasts that we can really ask the juicy questions and talk about the good stuff without having to be afraid of the airways or getting in trouble.
Well, yeah. I agree.
I don't know, but I'd be too embarrassed. Anyway, I want everyone to have a great week. This is Jack Miller. Todd, have a great week. This is Todd Cohen. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you folks next week.
Take care.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to tune in next Thursday at 3 o'clock on 880 The Biz. If you want to send in your questions, comments, or ideas for shows, please email jackmiller@geltfinancial.com. Follow us on Facebook at Jack Miller Down to Business or on Twitter at HJackMiller1.